Hey everybody, Dog8798 here. This is another video I've been wanting to do for a long time. It was also a request from one of my subscribers, Donovan Berry. This is my several cartoons or shows that deserve a second chance. This video is for cartoons that I either want continuations of, new sequel series, or entirely new remakes. Any way or another, I just want some of these shows back on television. And the first show I got to start off with is a show called The Toxic Crusaders, which I think aired from 1990 till 1991. This show only lasted for 13 episodes. The Toxic Crusaders was of course featured the character Toxie from the Toxic Avengers films. Those are four independent films created by Trauma, which features a nerdy mop boy named Melvin who gets picked on by bullies. One day, the bullies pull a prank on him by dressing up in a tutu and having him come into a room full of people. Instead of hugging a girl, he's hugging an animal, and then he trips and falls into a blot of toxic waste and becomes a hideously deformed mutant of superhuman size and strength, as they say in the movies and cartoons. And in the cartoon, which was lighter than the movies, the cartoon featured the same character, Toxie, only this time he was teamed up with other heroes, and they had a show similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, and environmental shows like Captain Planet. This was an awesome show. This show was very hilarious. The show constantly breaks the fourth wall and never takes itself seriously, and parodies several action and cartoon cliches. And the character Toxie, just like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was well on his way to becoming a household name. But according to Lloyd Kaufman, one of the main creators of the show, who you can see at the beginning of the episode, said they got canceled. They were never picked up for syndication, and they got canceled by the guys upstairs. But I would love to see this cartoon come back. They're talking about a new Toxic Avengers movie. I hope it comes out soon, and I hope it's good, and then I hope it becomes popular so they can maybe restart this series or just do an entirely different series. But I think this show could come back once again. If Johnny Test and Family Guy was actually good, but if Johnny Test can be brought back, then so can some of these shows. The next show is the 1993 Double Dragon cartoon, which is based on the Double Dragon video games. This cartoon is awesome. It's, in my opinion, one of the better and the best cartoons to be based on video games. The first episode was actually loosely based on the NES version of Double Dragon, and this show, while being campy and cheesy and toyetic, this show did feature strong writing, awesome artwork, and superb voice acting. You had the Ocean Dub cast in here. Next show is the Street Fighter 1995 cartoon. I'm a huge fan of the Street Fighter games, and I think the Street Fighter 1995 cartoon, along with the comic books, are the best adaptations of Street Fighter outside of their video games. And I thought this was an awesome, action-packed, hilarious show. This show was very similar to G.I. Joe and X-Men, but also took stuff from the games. And this show was very hilarious and produced a lot of internet memes, which you see on the What's Name. I think this show was way better than when people give it credit for, and I thought this show should have lasted longer. It aired from 1995. It aired from 1995 till 1997 on the USA network. It was canceled when USA got rid of their cartoons. And the next cartoon is Mortal Kombat Defenders of Earthrealm, which aired alongside Street Fighter 95 cartoon on the USA Network. I thought this cartoon, despite just like the Toxic Crusaders cartoon, taking a violent franchise and toning it down and making it more kid friendly, I thought the Mortal Kombat cartoon was awesome. The artwork was superb, the action sequences were superb, the voice acting was awesome, and I also love how they use sound effects and music from the very, very first Mortal Kombat scene to make the show feel even more epic. And I love how the characters look like their Mortal Kombat 3 counterparts. This cartoon was a sequel to the very first Mortal Kombat movie, and it completely ignores Annihilation, the second Mortal Kombat movie. And I thought this cartoon was awesome, with the exception of maybe Scorpion not being in a main role like he should be in the games and being a bad guy. That's the only thing I hate about the '90s adaptations of Mortal Kombat. Since Scorpion was the Skull guy, they always made him the bad guy. But this was an awesome show, and just like Street Fighter, fans didn't like it because it didn't have a lot of violence, and it was canceled when USA got rid of their cartoon block. Next cartoon was a comedy cartoon. This was Lloyd in Space, which aired on Disney's One Saturday Morning and reran on Disney Channel for I think 2 years before being moved to Toon Disney, and it hasn't been seen since. I thought this cartoon was an awesome, hilarious, relatable, funny cartoon. It was awesome, but Disney canceled it when they got rid of their One Saturday Morning block, and it reran on Disney Channel. And now Disney pretends this cartoon doesn't exist, but I would love to see this cartoon back on TV and with some new episodes to see where the characters ended up today. The next show is just like Lloyd in Space. It's The Weekenders, except this show takes place during the weekend. Lloyd in Space, of course, takes place in space, but The Weekenders takes place on the weekend. This show is about Lore, Tino, Carter, and Trish, four friends who hang out on the weekends and get into all sorts of wacky adventures, and the character Tino constantly breaks the fourth wall to tell you the plot of the episode and the moral of the episode at the end of the show. And I thought this was another awesome cartoon from One Saturday Morning, and it was hugely popular. They call it the ratings killer, because I think this show is actually the show that topped Pokemon, which was hugely popular at the time. But once again, Disney got rid of their One Saturday Morning block, and this show was canceled and reran on Disney Channel for I think a year, and removed to Toon Disney, and hasn't been seen since. And like I said, Disney, they like to pretend this show doesn't exist. The next show is a show from 2006, Class of 3000, which is loosely based on real life rapper Andre 3000. I thought this was an awesome, hilarious musical cartoon, just like Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi before it. This cartoon was like a cross between that cartoon Wayne's Head from the 90s on WB, Johnny Bravo, and SpongeBob. They even have the my leg joke. When someone gets hurt in SpongeBob, you always hear some guy shout my leg. You always hear someone shout that. I thought this cartoon was hilarious, and it was hugely popular despite some mixed reception from people on MINDB. But this cartoon was awesome. It was canceled when some country singer Tex McGraw filed a lawsuit against Andre 3000 because he proposed a similar idea for this cartoon back in the 90s. Like his idea was any good as this, and just why? I hate when people do that. And then the lawsuit was settled and he got his money, but Cartoon Network still didn't want to bring back the show, and they removed all references to this show. You got to go to streaming sites to watch this show. If anyone wants to watch that show, just message me and I'll tell you how. Next show is Cow and Chicken and Ira Baboon. Both of these shows were like so stupid they work. They were so bad they're good, and I love watching these shows, and it would be cool to make more episodes. I think this show could have lasted just a little longer. Not too long, but just a little longer. Next show is Johnny Bravo. I thought this show was awesome. I loved how in Johnny Bravo, in the last season, a lot of people didn't like this, but I did. I love how they returned to the format of the original series with celebrities and Johnny Bravo being smarter. He was more smart in the earlier seasons. He became dumber in season 2 when they added the character Carl. I thought this show, Johnny Bravo, this show was, of course, canceled when Van Partible, the guy who created Johnny Bravo, left Cartoon Network. I would love to see Johnny Bravo brought back more episodes. I think Johnny Bravo could have ran for a long time, and I would love to see more episodes of this show because, like I said, I love what they did with the last season. The next show is Robot Jones. Whatever happened to Robot Jones? Yeah, whatever happened to Robot Jones? Not much. Don't really remember much about this show, but I do remember it being funny, and I do remember being interesting and engaging. And this was just an awesome show. It was on Cartoon Network from about 2003 to 2005. Then in 2005 it was like canceled. But I thought this show was freaking awesome, and could have lasted just a little longer. Next show is Time Squad, the show where Otto, Tug Russell and Larry 3000, a robot. They go to various points of history to preserve time and keep history in order. Keep history in order. I thought this was a fun, comical, educational show. Surprisingly educational show. That wasn't the intention of this show. Educational show, and it'd be cool to see this show brought back. But once again, Cartoon Network likes to pretend Class of 3000, Robot Jones, and Time Squad doesn't exist. The next show is the 90s He-Man cartoon. After the Filmation cartoon ended in the toy line Wham, they tried to restart the He-Man franchise with the new adventures of He-Man, which means a brand new comic book series, which I would love to get my hands on. It looks awesome. A brand new comic series in the 90s, and a brand new toy line, and of course a brand new cartoon show that was animated in France. And features the Ocean Dub voice acting. Like I said, this show was awesome. For going in a whole new direction with the He-Man character, this show was awesome, and it only lasted for 65 episodes. There was supposed to be more episodes, but the show, nobody really watched it, and it really wasn't popular, and it was canceled. Like, a lot of fans didn't like it departing from the original Filmation cartoon, but I thought this was awesome, and I would have loved to have seen the season 3 where Skeletor and He-Man end up back in Eternia. I would have loved to see that. Next one is He-Man 2002. This He-Man cartoon went back to the 80s series, but completely revamped everything, including introducing more plot, more development. The 80s cartoon was awesome, but they were more interested in selling toys. This cartoon was interested in selling toys, but they put more into the plot, the characters, and it was just awesome. More screen time for characters. Then I love the later seasons that involved the Snake Man. It would have been cool to see the third season, which would have been He-Man and Skeletor teaming up to battle the Snake Man and Hordak. I even heard She-Ra was supposed to be introduced in this series, so I really want both of these He-Mans to return to television, or just a brand new He-Man television show. The next show is Thundercats 2011. This show, I still hate Stuart Snyder for this, canceling this awesome show. This was an awesome remake of Thundercats. It was hugely popular, and it was supposed to run for 52 episodes, but Stuart Snyder canceled the show because the show didn't sell toys, so he canceled it after only 26 episodes. But this was an awesome remake of Thundercats. The storyline, the animation, the fighting, the updated fighting, and updated everything, and the new character origins for several characters was awesome. Next show is Green Lantern, the animated series. I'm a huge fan of Green Lantern. I think he's one of the more underrated DC superheroes. I've always wanted him to have his own movie, animated and live action, and cartoon series. And for going in a whole new direction with the Green Lantern character, for doing an entirely different take on the Green Lantern character, this was an awesome cartoon, and it was getting really good in the end. And once again, just after 26 episodes, Stuart Snyder cancels it because it didn't sell toys. Next show was Teen Titans. Teen Titans, of course, ran for five seasons. They ran for 5 seasons, and despite huge demand for a season 6, the show was canceled. And then years later, they talk about bringing back the show, and instead of bringing back Teen Titans season 6, which everyone wants, they bring Teen Titans back as Teen Titans Go, with the chibi designs, the comedy, and the show, and that show is just garbage. But this show right here was awesome, relatable characters, strong, decent writing, and just an entertaining show, and it definitely deserves to be brought back. Next show is Legion of Superheroes. In my opinion, this was an awesome show for Kids WB. This show is overshadowed by the more recent Young Justice and Teen Titans, but this was an awesome show. Instead of a Robin Batman character as the main character, this show used a Superman character as the main character, and this was an awesome superhero action comic book superhero television series. It was canceled when when Kids WB was bought by, I think, 4Kids, acquired by 4Kids TV, and it was never brought back. what pisses me off is Cartoon Network. They brought back Johnny Test, a show that wasn't even good, that was canceled for new seasons, but they couldn't bring back this show. They couldn't bring back this awesome show for another 52 episodes, another 26 episodes. This show also only lasted for 26 episodes. Next show is Young Justice. This show lasted for about 40 episodes, and despite huge, humongous popularity, I don't know anyone who doesn't like this show. Everyone likes this show. This show was canceled after 40 something episodes because it didn't sell toys, even though this show, more so than the others, was once again more focused on the story. Next show is an anime, Kinnikuman. The original Kinnikuman. Now this show has been over, but I felt this show should have been more popular here in the States, and they should have got a dub here in the States. They didn't, because one of the characters in the show, Brocken Jr., was a good guy Noxie, and they thought that was stupid and the oxymoron, and they didn't want kids playing with a Noxie figure. I wish the people who were researching Kinnikuman back then would have done their research and would have known that Brocken Jr. has no Nazi beliefs. He wears that suit to honor his father. But yeah. Only thing that made it here from Kinnikuman, like I keep saying, is a video game called Tag Team Muscle, a crappy video game, and a couple of Racer Men. The next show is the sequel to the Kinnikuman, Ultimate Muscle. This show was canceled in Japan only after 52 episodes and only had another season made because the Americans here, we loved it that much. But in my opinion, if Toei can bring back Sailor Moon, a new Saint Seiya series, and even Dragon Ball Z Kai, which pissed me off, they can make new episodes of Ultimate Muscle after Kid Muscle's fight with Kevin Mask, and this was just an awesome show. It was hugely popular for the short time it was here, and I think it sucks that it's not on TV today. It's one of the more popular shows in Japan, but it's not even on TV here in America, and I think that sucks. Next show, Spider-Man Unlimited. I thought this was an awesome, unique take on the Spider-Man franchise, on the Spider-Man franchise, and a good continuation and sequel to the Spider-Man animated series. This awesome show was overshadowed by Pokemon. It was only canceled after only 13 episodes. So in this show, Peter Parker still never found Mary Jane. He never found her in the last series, so I was hoping he would do it in this series, which was a loose continuation of the last series. This show was awesome. I love the new edgy comic book style artwork. The animation was superb. Love the new character designs and artwork, and the new theme song, and just this show was just awesome, man. And just a cool, unique take on Spider-Man, and this show was canceled. The last show is the 1995 Mega Man cartoon. Okay, I like the Street Fighter, Double Dragon, and Mortal Kombat cartoons a little bit more, but this cartoon was awesome. I love Mega Man's new edgy design. I love the episodes, and I love the inclusion of Mega Man X from the Mega Man X series, X from the Mega Man X series. I would love to see other characters in the show like Axel and Zero, or hell, even the Mega Man Legends character, that Mega Man in the show. This show should have lasted longer. It was canceled, surprisingly, not due to ratings. It was hugely popular. It was canceled because of budget issues back in 95. But this show was awesome. Awesome animation, awesome action sequences, and you had the Ocean dub, and you had that awesome badass soundtrack that would later be reused for the last seasons of the last seasons of Dragon Ball Z. All right, well, Doug 8798 out. I'm gonna do shows that deserve to be back on television next time. All right, Doug out.